Hello everyone, this is Momo again. Today I'm here with McMac and we're going to show you our general routine senior care. Most of these you can do for piggies at any age, but we're going to focus a little bit more on seniors' needs today. As we all know, life expectancy of these our guinea pigs are about 5 to 7 years old, but we've heard stories of the piggies that live up to 10, and there are things that you can do to help your pigs to stay healthy and happy for as long as possible. You have to know that prevention and catching problems early is key for them. They're fragile little animals no matter what age, and as they get older, they just lose that ability to bounce back when they used to be, when they were a little bit younger. So it's very important for you to know what is normal and what is not normal for your pig. Every pig is different, as usual, so know your pigs well, know their likes and dislikes, know their eating habits, know their toilet habits. You need a trusty vet that you can work with, someone you trust and you know is knowledgeable, who knows your piggy well. Again, I'm a person who loses things by the minute, so I usually try to have my vet's contact numbers as spread out around the house as possible. I have a card on their cage. I have a card stuck right on their first aid box. Ding ding! Right there. I have the vet's card on their carrier. It's the one that we use to transport our piggies back and forth between the house and the vet's office. And last place we have them is on the fridge, just like everyone else. Because I know when your pets are sick, you get stressed, you panic, you can't find things, So I'm just trying to make life a little bit easier for myself actually. And last thing, you really need to monitor their weight. As they get older, they're more susceptible to stress, environmental changes, things like that would affect their appetite. And since they're such small and fragile animals, a day or two, starving themselves are going to get them sick sooner or later. So you have to weigh them weekly. This is something you cannot skip at all. Please don't be lazy. Weigh them weekly. If there's any drop in weight, you can catch it early on. You also need to monitor their water intake. For example, McMac, I know he's not really a huge drinker, but if there's any sudden increase or decrease in his water intake other than the weather factor, for example, on warmer days, like summer is approaching in a few months, I know he'll drink a little bit more than he used to during the winter months. So that's another thing you need to watch for, because dehydration, heat stroke, and things like that can be very dangerous for these little animals. We routinely take everyone out every single week, and we do all these for all piggies and not just McMac. So one of the first things, basic things that we do for them every week is we check their front teeth. What we can do at home is check their front teeth. You gently hold their upper jaw and their lower jaw. Open it slightly ajar. Make sure you can see their front teeth. Make sure they're straight, not slanted or broken. Can we see your pearly whites? Thank you. Do that weekly, because there are things like swollen gum tissues or discoloration or chipped tooth, broken tooth. These are things that will affect their eating habits, and then once they start not eating, they go down the hill very fast. So really try to check their teeth at least once a week. Another thing you need to look for is drooling, constant drooling. Like for example, if their chin right here is constantly wet, or if they stop eating, these are possible signs that something might be wrong with their teeth. Then you need to contact your vet. What your vet can also do for you during their wellness check is actually look into their molars at the back. So they'll use a little, I have no idea what the thingamajigger is called, open their jaw and look inside. If your pig is actually quite well behaved. McMac is actually a very mellow guy. He doesn't need to be anesthetized for that procedure. I'm not sure about your pig. Every pig is different and every vet is different. What they also can do for your little guy is to take a jaw x-ray to make sure the roots are healthy. Another thing we like to do for them is to check for their eyes. Same thing, you don't want any discharges. Eyes should be bright, sparkly. You want to make sure the eyes are well lubricated, but there's no discharge. There shouldn't be any swelling or discoloration around their eyes. Things, since McMac is getting old and he is blind, he's confirmed blind. He does have cataract in one eye and calcium something in his other eye. So what things to check for when they're losing their sight, either to cataract or old age. Even though cataract is not painful, you know, PI, fatty eye is also not painful, but you need to pay attention to those so you can make the adjustments for your pigs, you know, to adapt to their, you know, losing their vision. For example, you want to keep the cage relative the same, you know, places of their food, their water, their hay, relative the same every day so they can find them with no problems. You also want to make sure you house them with friendly cage mates who will not take advantage of their vision. So that is also important. Check your eyes. Check their eyes every week. And then another thing we do for McMac is we know that he does have arthritis. We've taken some x-rays about a few months ago, and then he has been on medication since I think December last year, yeah. So you need to check his bones, you know, make sure he's getting around okay, because arthritis makes it hard for him to get around, you know, makes it hard for him to wash his own face, keep himself clean. Another thing I find is that with older pigs, you know, they don't really want, you know, it's really an effort to lift their legs up high and tread through loose bedding. So what I found is they actually prefer fleece or towels as bedding as opposed to loose ones like Carefresh or shavings. You know, it's just harder to walk around those. So that's what we use fleece and towels. If you have a hay bin for them, make sure the opening of the hay bin is actually low enough for them to get into, you know, so they don't have to jump through a hurdle, you know, things like that to get into their hay bin. If your pig does have arthritis, your vet might prescribe a painkiller such as Metacam and Rimadyl for him. The dosages might be adjusted, you know, every few months according to x-rays and according to the progress of the arthritis. McMac has been on Metacam since December and has been adjusted 3 times, and he's doing quite well. But on some days you can tell he's a little bit off, and then those other days you need to help him out a little bit more, you know. Keep him clean, you know, wipe him off, keep him dry after he goes to the toilet and things like that. So what you will need, you will have a new best friend, washcloth. Little washcloth that you can use, you know, wet it up with warm water. You want it just to be damp, you don't want it wet, soaking wet. You can wipe their chin clean after feeding, wipe their eyes clean. You want to eat it, don't you? Yes, I know. And then after they go to potty, you know, just briefly, you know, clean them, you know. And then another thing is keep the hair around the toilet area relatively short, you know, so they can keep themselves, they can easily keep themselves clean and dry. It just makes life easier for everyone. And then another thing with older pigs is that you'll find they actually have drier skin, you know, their coat's a little bit coarser, and they also sometimes they might have drier feet. So what we do is you can use foot balms made for guinea pigs to keep their feet pads nice and moisturized, you know, soft and shiny. You can purchase those foot balms at Gorgeous Guinea's website. I love their shampoos too, and those smells are wonderful. But if you do not have access to Gorgeous Guinea, what we used to do is actually take a drop of jojoba oil and massage it into their foot pads. I find that works fine too. So you ask me, so when you take them to the vet, what does the vet do? Well, what our vet do is, starting with teeth, you know, like I said, they can look into their molars, look into their roots and things like that. They might take x-rays to find, are there any arthritis problems, are there any enlargement of the heart, are there any kidney stones, you know, bladder stones, are there any bone losses, you know. They can also take fecal samples